For decades, a whiff of marijuana has meant probable cause for police to search cars or even people during routine investigative stops.
So when pot is legal, can cops still use the aroma of weed to justify a search? The I-Team's Glenn Meek has been looking at the ramifications of legalized pot and how it impacts our Fourth Amendment rights.
Yeah, that's right. There are a number of thorny legal issues when states begin legalizing marijuana, but it's still illegal under federal law. Now, in the past, the smell of pot has been widely used by police for what begins as a routine search, but sometimes turns into something much bigger. And you're about to see a dramatic demonstration of that from the dash camera of a Nevada Highway Patrol vehicle.
What are you even stopped for? It doesn't matter what you're stopped for. You're stopped now, and I smell the odor of marijuana in the car. Give it up.
This dash cam video from a Nevada Highway Patrol cruiser was recorded on I-15 near Moapa. It graphically illustrates how a whiff of weed can launch an investigation that lands a passenger in handcuffs and leads to a warrantless search of the car. That search turns up $53,000 in cash, but less than 3 ounces of pot.
Keep moving around or you're going to go to jail, you understand? Keep moving around.
You see it most often out on the open roads with vehicle searches. It's commonplace.
Attorney Vincent Savarese does not represent anyone pictured in this dash cam video. And though he has concerns about the validity of this particular stop, he says if a stop is valid, the smell of pot from a car is grounds in Nevada for police to search, even if the driver has a medical marijuana card.
The issue is whether or not the individual is perhaps in possession of more than the amount that is lawful for medical use purposes. Even though he has a card, it doesn't give you the right to haul 100 pounds.
All over the country, as marijuana laws are eased, the question is being raised. When possessing pot is no crime, can the smell of marijuana justify a search? The headlines from Boston just last week gave the answer for Massachusetts. The Supreme Court there said police may not use the smell of pot by itself to justify a search. The court noted the legislature decriminalized possession of small amounts of marijuana, and the court said police should, quote, focus their attention elsewhere. Here in Washington state, where recreational marijuana recently became legal, Seattle police are looking to teach old dogs new tricks.
What we're doing ever since I-502 passed is desensitizing them to the smell of marijuana.
The Seattle police want to avoid having scent detection dogs alerting to a substance that's no longer illegal. But that philosophy is not universal, even in Washington. Tacoma police have no plans to train their dogs to ignore weed, much to the consternation of people who helped write the state's new marijuana law.
That means that people that are in complete compliance with the law might be stopped and sniffed and detained for longer than necessary for questioning.
The odor is only one component, especially with the law changing.
Kent Bitsko is head of a local drug task force.
I would hope that an officer would not use just the smell of marijuana to conduct a search. They would use that as a component of their probable cause or reasonable suspicion to continue.
As far as Nevada goes, Kent Bitsko says it's not likely we'll soon see police canines ignoring the scent of pot, especially since only a small percentage of the state's population has medical marijuana cards.
There's still a lot more people out there that are using it illegally than are using it legally. So it will be my bet that we will continue training our dogs the same way until we have a court decision that tells us otherwise.
The Massachusetts High Court has already told officers they can't use their noses to justify a search. But the law is still evolving in 23 other states where pot is legal in some form. And barring that court decision that Bitsko mentioned, in Nevada, even a card-carrying medicinal marijuana user with a legal amount is subject to a search solely on the scent of ganja.
All the card does is give you immunity from prosecution, not from...
Doesn't give you immunity from a search.
Correct.
At the beginning of this story, I mentioned that attorney Vincent Savarese was concerned about the validity of the traffic stop that you saw in that NHP dashcam video. While trying to obtain a copy of that video, we learned that the Highway Patrol is actually conducting an administrative review of the incident, and the NHP would not provide us a copy. We obviously obtained our video through other sources and had Mr. Savarese take a look at it because lawyers for the two people who were actually pulled over did not want to comment right now. And so, coming up tonight at 11, what we're going to do is have Mr. Savarese take a look at that, and anyone who wants to go over what some of the issues are involved in that video can watch that story. Issues involving, of course, the Fourth Amendment and these drug interdiction stops.
Yeah, great questions to ask.
Yeah.
Thanks, Glenn.
Changing times.
No kidding.